Hi everyone, this is Bekurs with COCM. We thought we'd check in this afternoon with a local campus and see what's going on that campus as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. With me this afternoon, I have Dana Bekurs, who's the Assistant Dean of Students at Birmingham Southern College, and she's agreed to come on and answer 3 questions for us about how her campus is dealing with the pandemic. So Dana, one thing that we're kind of interested in knowing is about the approach with students and what might have changed over the last few weeks as you continue to try to engage with students when they're not actually on the campus.
Yeah, so the first thing that we realized is that the students were on an extended spring break the first couple of weeks. And so they didn't have classes. They actually really didn't have a whole lot to do. They didn't have to do any schoolwork. So that was a kind of a shock to the system. They were getting really anxious during those 2 weeks about the online classes. So for 2 weeks, they were worried, they were concerned about a lot of things that they didn't know about because not really had online classes before. Some had some during high school, but we're a small liberal arts school, not many online classes that we offer, so most students hadn't had that. So what we did those first couple of weeks is just started really checking in with students and checking with them about how they were feeling. And so we knew that they were anxious about the online learning, but what we also started happening is the students were organically meeting. Their friend groups were meeting through FaceTime, through Google Hangout, they started doing their own Zooms before school actually began. So with their friend groups. So, that was one thing that started happening and that was really good. And our group of student affairs, we call ourselves student development. We were thinking that maybe these students wanted virtual events, which I think a lot of people around the country for the first couple of weeks were thinking that students were wanting to do virtual coffee houses and virtual trivia nights. And really that's not what they're wanting. They're wanting support academically. They're wanting support for their mental health, and they're wanting motivation and something to look forward to. So after those first couple of weeks, the students got back into online learning. We actually sent them a postcard in the mail, in the regular mail, that said, "Good luck on your first day of online classes, and take a picture with us and post on social media." So a lot of the students were posting these cards on social media just to get them excited, something to look forward to, that this is not going to be really horrible. So after they got through their first couple of weeks of online learning, got through that hump and realized it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be, we started trying to figure out how we were going to engage with the students in a different manner. So one of the things that we started doing is giving them support academically. So our Academic Resource Center figured out virtual tutoring, the math lab and the writing center. And so we made sure that these students were receiving this support academically. Even if they may have never used the tutoring center before, they might now, because online learning is different than, sitting in the class. So students who were not struggling in the classroom could be struggling now, because it's a different mode of learning. So wanting to support them academically, we're also supporting them through their mental health. The counseling center had to go through different certifications, because to be able to counsel over state lines, there's different things that have to happen for them to do that. So once they got that through, we're able to now service the students through the counseling center. Motivation was also something that the students were lacking. And part of it is that there's just not a lot to look forward to. All their friends were kind of ripped from them, their support system in a sense of their friends. Even if they studied together, they couldn't really do that anymore. So what we've been doing is, instead of doing virtual events, we're doing fun motivational type videos and putting them on Instagram, and the students are watching them very, very much. So the very first thing we did is we have campus cats, which a lot of schools have these cats that kind of roam campus. And so we videoed the cats. Our campus police videoed the cats for us, and we made a video and basically told the students the cats were missing them. So we had so many views on this video. The next video we're working on is a drive-through with the police. So as if they're just driving around campus, and make them feel like they're still here on campus. things to look forward to. And then the next video we're working on is kind of like the kid president videos that were out a few years back, just again, motivating them and, keeping them excited and getting ready to come back to campus.
As a result of this and the sudden change in their environment and the approach, do you feel like the students are and based on what you're hearing from the students and what they're telling you, are they more anxious and excited to get back to campus in the fall, or do you think there's less enthusiasm right now about the fall?
Well, the students that are very involved on campus would rather go back to campus right now. So,
Okay.
if they had the option, I know I work directly with orientation leaders, and right now I'm keeping them busy with working on how to change our summer orientation to a virtual orientation. So they're busy, but the orientation leaders come back early, and they want to come back as early as they possibly can. And I think it's not necessarily they want to get away from being at home, because they often at my school go home during the summer. They just want to be back to their normal routine. And so there's an excitement of looking forward to going back to campus as soon as they possibly can, just getting back to the normalcy of being in classes.
The third question, and kind of as a wrap up and in summary, what advice would you give campuses and student affairs and higher education professionals right now related to how to continue to engage with students now and through the summer to ensure that they are excited and remain enthused about coming back in the fall?
So for now, what we're doing is we're making sure that we're connecting to students in all different kinds of ways. So like this coming up Friday, we're doing a virtual Friday at the Fountain. So we do these Fridays at the Fountain during the fall and during the spring. And basically, usually we're doing some kind of event by our big fountain that's by our student center. But what we're doing is we're actually going to just have a time where it's 11:30 to 1, and everybody just gets on a Zoom call, and you change your background to the fountain. We're going to have these pictures of the fountain, and everybody's just going to eat lunch together. So again, just gathering, hanging out, being together. Another thing that is something that we can do now is having virtual meetings with these student groups. So continuing our selection processes of different groups and making sure that that's still happening, because students are curious about selection of the ambassadors that do the campus tours or the selection of the honor council. These selection processes are going to continue. Virtual meetings of SGA planning elections that are supposed to be going on right now, but how to get them ready for the fall. So it's just a shift and, kind of helping the students plan. That gets them looking forward to things. Another thing that we're doing is engaging our students with a newsletter, and we're going to continue to do that through the fall. And the newsletter is just a bunch of different types of things, that from academics information that they need to know, because now they're doing advising online, which is unusual, and how to do that, to podcasts that they can listen to that would be helpful with this time with COVID-19. Interestingly enough, our newsletters are getting a 75% open rate and an 85% on their desktop. So it's just a shift in the way that they're learning and the way that they're being, because typically everything is opened on a mobile device, but right now they're actually looking at it on their desktop, which is really interesting. So, other things that can happen during the summer is reaching out to the students that are incoming students. So that's part of my challenge right now, is how do we reach out to the incoming students and keeping connected with them if we do a virtual orientation. So that's, those touches during the summer. How do those happen? We want to get the Greeks to plan recruitment. So planning is stuff that I got an email yesterday about homecoming. So we're starting to figure out a time to do that planning of homecoming. So, and those things can happen during the summer, which we probably wouldn't normally do some of those things during the summer, but it's giving those students, time to plan and look forward to things. Another thing that we want to make sure that you do is connecting to those students that don't have friend groups. Who are those students and who they're kind of falling through the cracks, and making sure that they are getting the support that they need. And then also trying to hit to the students that are not connecting at all virtually with their professors, and reaching out to those students because they could be having a lot going on at home. There could be Wi-Fi connectivity issues. There could be all different kinds of things. We have students that live in such rural areas that they don't even have, they don't have cell phone service at their house. So, how do they get, some of them are going, to driving 30 minutes to a library or to get internet. So, making sure that you're connecting to those students. So there's lots of things that can happen. You just got to shift it and think in a different way, think outside the box. And sometimes the students can help you figure that out. We were talking about those virtual events. We thought that that's what they wanted, but we asked the students and they said, no, we don't want that. We just want to be together and make it feel like we're still here at the college. So
thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you taking time out from your busy schedule. And one thing that we've learned is that this time is not light in the workload for student affairs professionals. They're actually much busier and doing a lot more than normal for this time of the year, because in addition to having to achieve the same goals, they've had to adjust with their methods and approaches and work through technology challenges and all of that with students. So thank you for all you're doing for students, and good luck to you. And we'll see you in the fall.